See, the first part, I spent not less than, I would say, half an hour or two for every client, whether there are 15 clients a week or 10. Why I contemplate and reflect? So because it helps me to evolve and assess every student clearly based on their experiences, the practices I give, and the most important thing in this journey of the Eastern wisdom. Who teaches you? I know. Normally in a life coach, I teach you. So we have a clarity. It is the Eastern wisdom, that principle, that is a sum of knowledge, and the wisdom is the giver of the knowledge. Personalized by a live teacher, goes to the students, so that the students reaches to the same level of the wisdom as testified and validated by thousands of masters.
I know you've mentioned that there are ancient texts that the Easternwisdom is based on. Have those been translated into different
many languages?
Are there any books that you could recommend that I read?
Yes, I would recommend. There are two things, and then we will understand. The first is the book. These ancient texts are written as a zip files. So the moment you open one zip, it has at least 20 files. Mm-hmm. So they are the subsets of that formula, and every file again contains lot of formulas. So that is normally taught in a tradition, master to disciple. That's why I said that I spent 26 years with my master.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to read that book.
No, but it does not mean that you cannot study. So one of the great masters who came to United States when he came in 1893. His name is Swami Vivekananda.
I think I have one of his books.
So there are 4 classics.
1 Million Thoughts?
No, not 1 million thoughts. They are. I will. Can I?
If you want to send it to me in an email.
I'll send it to email also. So Swami, his name is Swami Vivekananda because he wrote that book here. He spent about 2 years in 1893. Where it says 4 yoga or 4 classics. So once you find out 4 classics, Raja, Karma, Bhakti and Jnana Yoga. So start studying Raja Yoga. Okay. So once you understand, but you study and don't study like a fiction, and I appreciate that you asked me. Besides, I told you that that is how the zip file is opened up.
Yeah.
So that's So read only 10 pages.
Okay.
Close your eyes and contemplate. Reflect. What question is answered? How it is answered? How it needs to be applied. And you will find that I have already answered many of your questions.
This is J-N-A-N-A. Okay.
4 classics. I will send you by email. So 4 connections. I gave you an example. A lot of things happens in the house, outside, with the teachers, with the group. So I remember the 4 connection. What is that 4 connection? that I identify myself as a seeker all the time. I am the seeker. You identify with landscaping, so you are a landscaping expert. Person identified as an engineer who becomes an engineer. But this inner identification to remain as a seeker is one of the toughest jobs that we need to do. I am always a seeker of evolution, seeker of my real nature, seeker of the peace and happiness. Now two people are fighting, and the mind, due to the past impression, triggers me. Person A is not, you fought with me. Person B, so the mind triggered by the outer environment, and engagement starts. And the moment you engage yourself, you are bound to be stressed. You are bound to be stressed. So that is the first connection. First connection is that I have to remain as a qualified seeker. So now, see the another scenario. Now I am a seeker. Oh, you both are fighting. Okay. No, yes, person A blames. Oh, yes, I see that. Person B blames. No, I see that. Okay. I think the most important thing is that why don't you calm down, take a cup of tea, and then if you want me, we will discuss together. Remain unattached. You are actively participating. You are consciously participating. But not encroaching their unconsciousness, their past impression. The moment you hurt anybody's past impression, you are gone. Honey, you did last year, you blamed me, and you are finished now. So that is the journey of becoming a seeker. First connection is always remember. Why we forget? Because of the past impression. So we lose being qualified seeker. So I've summarized it. While fourth connection helps us to know and understand how our mind works facing to the world and facing to the self. So seeker's mind is facing to the self, and from the self I come out with the peace. Bypassing person A, I had a grudge against the person A, who cares? Now the mind is constantly facing to the self, and now the self is expressing in that relationship. You see, could you believe I didn't sleep tonight? I went into Vita training, I returned home at 10, and then I was absorbed into meditation. So don't think that, it is insomnia or sleep disturbances. I'm okay, I'm fine. So when you are totally absorbed into a deeper state of meditation, the hours of the sleep also is minimized, and you are able to maintain the same level of energy. You can see there are some unusual changes that takes place. But those unusual changes gives you an opportunity to explore yourself. I remain totally calm, thoughtless, and tired. Just lying down on the bed, and then I said, no, let me sit, and then let me write something, and enjoy it, complete. So now see that we don't get sleep because of anxiety and the stress. But now it is totally a different state. I have been in this, for the last 40 years. I'm also evolving. So remain as a qualified seeker. Facing to the world, I have answered. I will divorce and become happy. These dual and opposing thought creates wrong thinking and notion about life and goal of life. I have covered about wrong notions and the wrong thinking. The mind facing to the world, and it fixes the goal outside. The moment it fixes the goal outside, pay attention, I'm going deeper. The moment it fixes the goal outside, it has already started the wrong notion and the wrong thinking. Mind, the same mind, fixed the goal inside. Self is real self, true nature, permanent peace, happiness, love, wisdom. The mind is facing that. Why? Because that self is unchanging. It is a pure consciousness. We are the seekers of love and peace and happiness because that self is of the same nature. Now see the other side. Mind is facing to, it is a very subtle, that's why we will try to cover all these principles. I'm laying a foundation. Mind fixes the goal inside about honey, example. Always example, consider that. Example, let me talk to my honey and he should change his habit. You have started with the wrong notion. And then it will create a ripple of wrong thinking. There might be an ego clash. It may happen that the honey says, okay, I understand, I will do this. You have already told me. Otherwise, there is a chance that the honey will react. You started teaching me? I know everything. So you see, when your mind is facing the world outside and you fix the goal outside, you have 1,000,000 options. And that causes the wrong thinking. I can evolve myself individually. I can be a pointer to help you to evolve. But I cannot buy peace and happiness for you. Be 100% clear. So there is a total acceptance of what is happening in the world. People tell me, so you talk about peace and love and compassion. What about the violence? I said, let politicians help them. Let politicians solve these problems. Let social thinker help them. Not interested. But at the same time, you see, when you are a seeker, you are already helping the people nearby you. You are not engaging in the action. You are not engaging in blame and game. That is the only possibility in the world. Democracy has failed. Aristocracy has failed. Socialism has failed. Communism has failed to create an egalitarian society. So we are not talking of social evolution. Our journey has to be individual evolution, and let us set an example silently. That is becoming a seeker. But it is supported by the goal of life. What is the goal of life? Goal in life, I have covered before, career, job, money, and everything, pleasure, and all kinds of things that we achieve in the world. But here the subject matter is, who am I? What is this world? What is the existence? And how to live and work and think and speak in that state 24/7. When you achieve that state of 24/7, this is known as awakening. Awakening comes just before enlightenment. That is simply an awakening. Nothing more than it. Now you need not to make any effort. You make an effort, you get your pay stub. Again you have to make an effort. Then again you get a pay stub. I'm explaining through that example. Now think of it. Now you make an effort, you end it, and the money continues pouring in. That is awakening. That is awakening. Now no more effort is required. You have understood those principles. It has transformed your mind. You need not to do anything. But still you continue the journey, you continue the practices. and you see every opportunity in the world to evolve. Whether the person closer to you is cruel or the person closer to you loves you, both are the same. You find a tremendous patience and a calmness when the person is cruel. That is also a part of evolution. Let me check my mind. Can you remain in peace and calmness? Well, if the person loving, yes, the love is inside. Let me also express my love, but remain
in peace,
detached, because that love is attachment. So I normally say, Claudia, that I enjoy being exploited, but I hate to exploit people. I never do it. So some people say, no, we will do it, No, after all, what is your requirement? You have your son, who bought the home for you. Are we discussing my requirement, or are you discussing your problem to me? Yeah, sometimes. Many people say that.
What are they saying exactly?
Because they want to bring my fees down.
Oh.
So I know how to answer them. First connection, to remain as a seeker. The moment you are a qualified seeker, you will work on the mind. Second is the subject matter. Subject matter. Recently, one a student from New Jersey, she wrote to me that, I cannot afford. I said, I don't bargain. I'm okay. She sent another email that now you have opened a not-for-profit organization, so I can donate the money. I said, not interested. I'm not interested. I'm not craving for it. I will get others. I have opportunity everywhere. As long as the people are suffering, I'm happy. So I said, no, I'm not interested at all. Not at all. And she wrote 10 emails, all the way to exploit. I said, I'm not interested. Be very clear. It may happen that you may get some benefit if you agree to their exploitation. But in the long run, the mind will start working on you. Don't allow the mind to work on you. The mind, you must work on the mind.
I understand the money part because I take photos sometimes for people, and I know that some people expect that stuff because you're different for free, but you're lending your talents and your time is valuable, and that means that they don't consider that your time is valuable. That's the way that I
That is one aspect, but in this journey, Claudia, I'm opening up, you'll be surprised that two clients whom I mentored for their couple. One is Chief Finance Officer in Johnson & Johnson. For, I think, 5 or 6 years, they never left me. They said no. So the time came, I said, now you have reached to that state where you can undertake a journey by yourself. But there are still higher aspects. They said, no, we will learn it. They continued. They are still doing an online session. In August, they are sending double the amount without asking anything. That happens. I don't teach any kind of magic or miracles. I'm totally away from that cult, dogma, belief in miracles. But it had happened to me, almost it happens to me every month in one or the other way. Whether it is a financial, whether it is a kind of a social recognition, you enjoy yourself because of the four connections. So my mind said, oh, should I write? I said, thank you for your support. Neither too less nor too. And I'm not surprised. So that happens also. So that is how it compensates who enjoy exploiting me. But it is not easy.
Yeah.
Second point, four connections. Always remember. First, remember being a seeker. Second is the subject matter. The goal of life are twofold. And then we can open a third connection. What is that goal of life? To evolve and help everyone to evolve. You are silent in that event where the fight is going, and that is also a process of evolution. You are patting somebody consciously, not getting engaged, not getting carried away. That is also the process of evolution. So how it will happen? Continue, wait. Let us go deeper. Once you reach to a state, everything appears like a play and fun. Oh, you have said something, the person has reacted, thank you very much. I'm extremely sorry. Even if you are 100% right, but the situation is different, I'm extremely sorry. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Sorry. Finish it. So you learn that there is a calm and the peace is already there inside. Just by saying sorry, even if you are 100% right, you have calmed down that person. Eastern wisdom teaches you that the world outside is full of dualities and a conflict. Some people will calm down when you shout. Some people will calm down when you talk in wisdom. Other people will never calm down. Whatever you do, they will continue to blame and complain. So I keep separate the world outside. I know how to play with it. So some people think that if I say sorry, problem is solved. Some people want, a firm action, shouting, no, you have to do this. We are playing a role, not remain disengaged. Three things, qualified seeker. Second is subject matter. Third is the goal of life for every human being is same. Common point. When your mind is fixing the goal outside, different point. Variety, duality, delusion, conflict, anger, reaction. And the moment the mind is facing to the self, what it perceives, I am a seeker of peace and happiness. Is Claudia is not a seeker of peace and happiness? Yes. Is the guy who is angry is also a seeker of peace and happiness. But he wants peace through anger. That is ignorance. See that? That is ignorance. So we say, okay, I have lived this kind of a life, no more. So every person who is becoming angry, who is reacting, is also helping you. I'm going very deeper. Is also helping you.
Yeah, every opportunity.
Every opportunity, every event. So how it happens? The first statement that I made, the Eastern wisdom, or consider that as a book of knowledge, personalized by the teacher, goes to the students who is progressing, testifies his understanding, his experiences, again based on the book of knowledge. I am just an agent, a catalyst. That is why you see that is why you cannot create any cult, dogma, belief and religion. It starts with a subtle ego. I know it. Follow. So there is no follow. We don't make followers. That is the beauty. But many people, following the same principle, they make cult and last point. The fourth connection is simply working on the mind to move away from suffering, coming near to the self. There are desires in the senses, mind, and the intellect. You see, I did not want to cover, but I heard this and this needs to be covered. Remember this, any problem either lives in the sense organ or lives in the mind, lives in the intellect. Any problem living in the sense organ can easily be tackled. You can say 10% of influence. But if it lives in the mind, is constantly repeated, it is 75%. But if those problems taken by the intellect, accepted and recognized and validated by the intellect lives in ignorance, your friend, lot of problem, lot of anxiety, intellect returns again and again. I know it will take some time. I don't know how fast she can evolve. So when the intellect claims that I am the most unfortunate person in the world, they wake up in the morning in stress, they sleep in stress, they work in stress, they blame, they complain, they react, they glorify the events that may be unfortunate events. We all have some unfortunate events in our life. Everyone has. But we glorify. Who glorifies? Intellect. It is very hard to break that connection. So remember, the intellect claims person A in the office is crazy. Please, mind? I was also crazy at one time. It does not mean that I'm always crazy. So I have to perceive the world in the same way as I perceive myself. You narrated openly that incident of your birthday. We became crazy. So people also become crazy at times. It doesn't mean that they are 24-hour crazy. But many people who cannot remove that craziness from the intellect, whether it's a low IQ or high IQ, they become the victim of the mental disorders. Whether it's anxiety, depression, PTSD, delusion, OCD. I've taken care of a lot of people of OCD and personality, psychotic disorders and self-harm and a lot of stuff. That needs to be clearly understood. Now reverse, apply that in daily life. I'm in anxiety. Come on. I have to work on you, mind. Duality, conflict, jealousy, hatred, blame, complaint, reaction, all are coming from the ignorance. Our subject matter, incomplete knowledge of who am I. I am none of them. But intellect will force you, no, you are. So there is a vicious cycle is created. Habitual cycle is created. Oh, you gave me the practice, it doesn't work, so I can give you 400 practice. Come on. Are you ready to do it? No, give me that practice. How do I know? Give me that practice. So you see the intellect. And I told you, do you remember? Those who have chronic anxiety have higher IQ than the normal ordinary people. You see that the intellect is constantly repeating it.
Yeah.
Repeating it.
So, sometimes I think maybe I'm losing intelligence by not engaging in any of this.
You are becoming more intelligent. The intellect perceives clearly, it makes a choice, There is a natural focus on the choice that will increase my productivity, my performance. It will help me to live in peace. Why I have to think all the time? Thinking all the time does not mean that I have higher IQ. See that is what these masters have taught. My master used to say that to think is really good, great for the human being, but not to think is remarkable. So now your sense organs are becoming pure, mind is becoming pure, the intellect is becoming pure. So just for 5 minutes, tell your mind, I have to work on you, so whatever the thoughts you want to bring it. I will not get carried away by it. So what will happen? First, momentary silence, and then you will be able to know the past impressions that surface in the mind. So in that silence you can release those past impressions. Unwanted, unnecessary thoughts enters into the mind, which is not at all related when you are sitting in the office, when you are at home, when you are driving. Why? It is not required. So when I work on the mind, it is not required. Done. Finished. So there is a natural focus. And that natural focus conserves energy. The moment you think over a problem, you have a solution with the clarity and the wisdom. That is the role of the intellect. The role of the intellect is not that you are unconsciously, habitually thinking. You're sitting in the office, you have to perform your role, and something pops up in your mind from the house, from the honey, and the mind is carried away, and you are also working, which we claim as a multitasking. So you mess up. I don't see there is any multitasking.
Yeah, multitasking was a big thing years ago, and now it's not anymore.
Remember, use your intellect to understand and then reach to that state. Last point, let us understand the knowing. So find out the answers of these questions. If you do not find the answers of these questions, I'll help you to find out. So last point, knowing, understanding, last para, followed by regular practice with wisdom, removes wrong notions, thinking from the mind. The mind becomes clear and pure. For onward journey to become a seeker, the seeker is a person who identifies with attributes, skills, capacities to treat the path to fourfold practice, the one that we touched upon last week, which is known as deviate, separating. What we did? We just separated. Here is an ignorance. Anxiety, you stay there. Reaction, you stay there. I'm not a part of it. No, mind is pushing you. Person A, I had a jealousy and reacted, she is bad. Person A is bad. Person B is good. Mind, hold on. I'm working on you. You need not to get carried away.
That is one concept that I try to keep. I think about it every day. Like, if I start to get carried away, like, is the mind working on me or am I working on the mind?
It's
one of the ones that I constantly remember. So
you're evolving faster.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. Let us start. So learning